Assalamu alaikum. How are you, ladies and gentlemen? So today we have very special guest with us. His name is Kurt, and we have started a series of interviewing from around the people, different from around the people of the world, different people from around the world, and they are sharing their knowledge, their expertise to us, to our audience. So without wasting your and my time, let's get into it. And my dear friend, please give your introduction to our audience.
Well, I'm Kurt Kruger. It's a German name, and the first name, Kurt, in the old German language means wise counselor. So I get to be a wise guy. Uh, I've actually attempted to be wise, to get the wisdom, not attempted to, but I've worked all my life pretty much at receiving wisdom from all different areas of the world because I believe that life is worth living as a thriving way rather than just surviving. And I've lived in India, I've lived in Australia, I've lived in Sweden, I've taught at Stockholm University, I've been on a hijacked airplane, I taught in the ghettos of Los Angeles. I have a huge background when you're 94,000 years old. But my whole purpose of being here with you today is really to bring forth the Department of Peace. Why? Well, have you ever been fearful? Have you ever feared for your life? Yes. And that's really sad. I know too many people who have feared their life. Also, does everybody want the best for their children? Does everybody want the best for their family? Everybody wants peace. I don't know a single person who doesn't want peace. Having been on a hijacked airplane and having taught in some of the worst schools in America, from 11-year-olds to elders and so on, I've seen so much. So I decided to do something about it. And governments have not done it. Do you know any government that has gotten a Department of Peace? So
Okay, so I want to ask you, what is exactly peace is, according to you? What do you think? What is peace?
well, it really doesn't mean anything coming from me what peace is because everybody has their own definition of peace. My definition is basically peace in everything and everything with peace. And when we have that, then we're living in paradise. Allah basically allows us, when we follow just one rule, the golden rule, it's in the Quran. When we treat others with like we want to be treated, everything's good. That one rule is in every single religion on the planet. And yet, look at the planet. I believe there's one main reason for us not having peace because we're not peaceful within ourselves. If we had peace everywhere and we weren't peaceful, what good does it do you? So,
Okay, that's an amazing answer, Kurt. So, you define your definition of peace to us and our audience. That sounds great. So, how we all collectively together make peace in this world? It's a very simple question, but how we can do it?
well, if anybody has a really interest in doing that, they become the Department of Peace. Like a very famous Indian, his name was Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi. He said, "Be the change you wish to see." And so when we are the Department of Peace, when we are peaceful, how does our family feel? How does our friends feel? How does our community feel? A little better. And so when we are the Department of Peace, when we take it upon ourselves, rather than say, The government of Pakistan is going to finally have a Department of Peace. It only comes because the people demand it. It only comes because this is what we want to focus upon. And we get what we focus on. America focused on going to the moon. We got it. But why don't we focus on creating peace? We have every country has a Department of Defense, but they always have to go to war to have a reason to have a Department of Defense. So it gets all the money, most of the money of every country. Why? We should fuel what we want. It's like most people have seen Star Wars. And if they've seen any of those Star Wars, they've seen how the dark side tries to get the light force people to come to their side. They put doubt, or they put fear, or they put all these separation ideas. When you get a separation that you're not close to Allah, then you're not close to Allah. You just have that idea and you're not close to Allah. But when you wish to be close, you go into your heart. And when you go into your heart, it overpowers the mind that fears this or fears that or is afraid. Like, there's been times in my life where I've had $5 to my name. And did I fear? No, I've always been taken care of. Haven't you been taken care of? Now, how do we take care of others who can't? Because there's people like mental problems or physical problems. That gives us the gift of helping them. When we see that we're not separate from them and they are us, they are part of us, they are our relations, then we treat them with respect and love. Mother Teresa, this lady, Romanian lady that went to India, she helped dying people and she treated them like as if they were Allah. She said Jesus because for her, Jesus was God. And when we treat others like this is Allah right here, all of God's creation is part of God, isn't it? If it's his creation, shouldn't we treat it with respect and love? Same thing with the environment? Or should we be like the caterpillar and eat everything up? And the earth has stopped us from doing that. Why? We got COVID and everything shuts down. And we have to go into this cocoon. Now, you can treat the cocoon like you're in gook, because that's what it looks like. It's real gooky, but there's some interesting cells in there. They're called imaginal cells. I call them intentional cells. You have the intention of creating something better when you get out of this darkness. My intention and our intention is to get to create the Department of Peace within ourselves and within our friends, within our family especially. And we can do that only when we focus on doing that.
That sounds crazy, and I learned a lot from it. So my next question to you is, what do you think we need to teach our children in syllabus? There, what is peace? How we can create peace? What do you think about it? We need to teach
Oh,
them or not?
definitely. Now, how many people have been taught how to be a parent? Do they have parenting classes in schools? Do they teach you how to be able to be a good character? Or do they teach you all left brain kind of ideas, like memorize this, memorize it? We have computers. If we need to find something out, we get it right away. And then we use what we've gotten to create something new. But I'll give you an example on education. I've been an educator for over 50 years, from 11-year-olds to through university to graduate programs. In all my teaching, from corporations to any walk of life, Institute of Sports Psychology, I founded that. All people have not come close to their potential because we're usually using mostly just one side of the brain. When we use all of our body, mind, spirit, emotions, then we tap into Allah. We tap into God. We tap into that force, as people call it, who don't believe in God. And for those people, the only picture in my book, now this book got to be a bestseller, two of them actually, two of the four. I have four books. Two of the four got to be bestsellers. Winning Ways for Living in 3 weeks on Amazon. So that teaches you how to be a peak performer in life. It gives you all kinds of different ways from nutrition, because nutrition can improve your IQ up to 20 points. Your mood swings can balance. Your physical strength and endurance can go up to 50% better just with proper nutrition. So that gives you three main things to be able to really get a good diet. But we also have things like what we think. What we think is often what we get. If we fear taking second, we most likely get second instead of feeling we're getting number one. Oh, excuse me. Let me something. Uh, you mentioned about teaching our kids. I highly recommend, the best book I've ever seen on parenting is a book called Nurturing with Love and Wisdom, Disciplining with Peace and Respect. You can put it in the chat or somewhere. If anybody wants anything that I talk about at all that I refer to, all they have to do is send it, get onto successsystemsinternational.net and go through the process of asking for what you want through the website, and I will respond to you and send you what you need. The best thing you can do to begin with is get the book Winning Ways for Living and get the last one. You don't have to get all four. The last one is volume 1, 2, and 3, and a lot more in the fourth one. So.
Okay, I have noted these all your conversation and books and the website. Now after that, I will give to my audience this numbers and books so they can contact with you and find these on website, on Amazon and internet. So that's fine. Good. So my next question to you is, good. Why governments are fighting with each other? Why countries are fighting with each other? Why? Let me explain it.
Okay. So many people think it's the cabal. It's the super rich who want to get you to, well, there's some reason behind that. One of our presidents, his name was Dwight David Eisenhower. He had fought the war in Europe. He was the leader of the war in Europe for us. He became a president. And before he left the White House, he said, be careful with the Department of War, with the Pentagon, with all the companies that deal with fighting. And what happened? America has gone downhill ever since because we didn't become careful. And the companies, we are spending double the amount on our Department of Defense than the 10 next countries in the world spend on their Department of Defense. We could cut that in half and fund a Department of Peace, which would do things about the environment, things about education, things about character development, media kind of things. It would cover everything that we deal with in life to bring peace in all areas of life, from corporations. There's something called B corporations. B corporations are benefit corporations, and they benefit not only the company, but the people in their company and the people surrounding their company and where they get their natural resources from. Because without natural resources, we won't have anything. And we are destroying the planet. Like I said, we were like, and still are, like caterpillars. A real quick example. There's a lady that has a company called treesisters.org, treesisters.org. She has a fabulous presentation, but she found out that they are devouring the rainforest faster during COVID than they ever have before. The rainforests are our lungs. The rainforests not only help the rain and the animals and the insects and everything else that we need for life, because in the last 100 years, we've made extinct 75% of the species on the planet. 75% of the species on the planet have gone extinct in the last 100 years. Why? Monsanto has been poisoning insects. Insects that are eaten that have been poisoned by Monsanto, by birds or by other animals, they get that poison in them and they die, and so on and so forth. And when we eat that food that's been genetically modified by Monsanto or other companies, or any other company, as I say, or they've been sprayed with these pesticides, if they kill pests, what is it good for our body? If it kills the pests, all the other things on the planet are dying because of it. When one thing dies, it's a snowball effect. Now we get to reverse it. There's a book called Drawdown by Paul Hawken. Paul Hawken has this book that has the 100 most effective ways to reverse global warming. To reverse it, not just slow it down, not just stop it, but we need to reverse it. We can do it. If there's open fields, plant a bunch of different kinds of seeds. There's a special thing called regenerative agriculture. Again, if anybody wants any of this information, successsystemsinternational.net, they can write to me and I'll answer as best I can for it. Same thing, especially with the Department of Peace, because the Department of Peace includes all of these things I'm talking about.
Okay, that's fine. So I agree with you. We humans destroy our ecosystem, and we are really destroying in near future also. So how we can stop them? What do you suggest? How we can stop it?
Number one, just yourself, you get to watch what you buy, what you eat, how you speak, who you speak to, because if you're so-called representatives, and if they're not your representatives, make them represent you. It's your responsibility to make them represent you. If they do not, use nonviolent communication, use nonviolent everything. Never, ever become violent. I'll give you an example about that. I had a boy walk up to me as I'm in the hallway during passing period at a high school. I had failed him in government class. He would not graduate from high school because I failed him. He's 5 feet away from me and he pulls out a gun. And I calmly but firmly said, "Give me the gun." I didn't show any fear. For some reason, I didn't have fear. I had already been on a hijacked airplane, but I didn't have the fear. Inshallah. He literally, I don't think, knew what to do. So he gave me the gun and I called the security man. He took the gun and the boy away. I went back into my classroom and taught. I didn't have to become violent. I didn't have to try to disarm him. Now, I've been a bodyguard for international celebrity before. I know how to handle myself with that kind of thing. I also know most people with a handgun do not know how to shoot it very well. So we get to be able to be the change we wish to see. And we get representatives to do that, to make the peace happen, to make the destruction of the environment stop. Look at what a little girl like Greta Thunberg did. She did what she could. She was like this little boy that was sticking his hand in the dike. He stopped the flood from happening. She stood there until people could patch it. We get to be able to do what we can and spread the word. We're the intentional cells. We're those imaginal cells in that chrysalis. The more we communicate this to everybody through Zoom calls, through putting it on your Facebook or all the social media, get it happening, because that's the value of having that time in this chrysalis to be able to do this. We get to be when we break free, we're strong because we've gotten stronger through our communication, through our push-ups. The push-ups are contacting our representatives. The sit-ups are doing this for that, and so on. It's doing this kind of exercise.
It's an amazing conversation, amazing. So everyone, according to me, everyone have some fears in his life. How to overcome fears? It's an amazing question. How to overcome?
You can run away from the demon in your dreams, or you can stop and turn around and say, why are you chasing me? Most people don't know how to control their dreams. Most people do not. There's a way to do it. It's called lucid dreaming. I've been involved with this for 50 years. The idea of dealing with your mind, body, and spirit. I started the Institute of Sports Psychology in 1982 in Bombay. It spread to 5 offices around the world. I then had Success Systems International for big corporations and for education and other areas of life. It works. We can learn and do things that totally change life. We don't have to have fear. Now, if you are fearful, there are ways to be able to help. If you're angry, there's ways to help. If you're angry, thump your thymus. And you, like Tarzan, instead of yelling something, or if you want to yell something, yell a blessing. Alhamdulillah, bring God here. And then what happens? If you're thinking about God, how can you hurt somebody? If you are focused on God, God is peaceful. God gave us life. We are here to generate life, not kill it. So we follow this teaching, and we can ask Allah to release us from this fear. And you can, when I say face it, if you're afraid of rock climbing or heights, go rock climbing. And you keep on. I taught an 80-year-old how to swim. She had this fear of water, and she was able to get off the bottom and propel herself. She could start to move herself and grab onto the side. She wasn't fully water safe, and then she stopped coming. It was her choice. She was moving in the water. She knew she was moving in the water. She knew she was fine doing what she did, and then she stopped. We get to persevere. If we are God's child, Allah loves those who love him, and you have to love yourself to love Allah fully. Treat yourself with respect and love, and to do that, you get to release the fear. Face the fear. If you're afraid of heights, go skydiving. Go ziplining. There's ways that you can do it safely. There's less people hurt doing rock climbing than just climbing a ladder. More people are hurt climbing ladders than rock climbing, way up a cliff. They don't get hurt as often as a person climbing a ladder. So when you get some science behind it too, it helps you to be able to face that fear.
That sounded amazing. So this is very healthy conversation is going on. So at the end of this conversation, I'm saying to you, please give a message related to peace to our audience. Your advice, your suggestions, anything you want to say to our audience related to peace. This is last words of you.
Okay. The best thing that I can say, and I really know that you can hear this, I want you to feel this. See God in each other, see Allah in each other, and know that Allah dwells within you as you. When you really do that, when you really see Allah in each other, you're in heaven.
So thank you so much, Kurt, having an amazing and wonderful conversation with me, with our audience, and it's an amazing message that you give to us and how we can create peace, how we can save our earth and ecosystem. Once again, thank you so much for giving me your valuable time. See you soon.
Thank,
So thank you
thank
so
you.
much. Allah Hafiz. Thank you so much.